Hi, Lee Phillips here. Want to talk to you for 2 seconds about when you have to register what I'm going to call a dormant or an inactive company with FinCEN, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Everybody has to register their company, and that has to take place by the end of the year in 2024 for anybody that was in existence, any company that was in existence prior to January 1st, 2024. You've got till the end of the year. Any new company, you've got the 90 days this year and then the 30 days after that, next year and the next year and the next year. So it's a big deal. The penalties are huge. The question that I always get is, okay, I have a company I haven't used it for 10 years. Do I have to register it with FinCEN? And in the past, I'd always say, if you've got an old company, you haven't been paying the fees, don't worry about it. It's dead. The state's gone. It isn't registered with the state anymore. And just ignore it. But you can't say that anymore, because just canceling the company with the state by not paying the fees isn't going to satisfy FinCEN. So I've got the old company. What do I do? Well, FinCEN says that it's an inactive entity and it doesn't have to be registered if it meets all 6 criteria that FinCEN puts out. Let me run through the criteria for 2 seconds. 1, the entity was in existence before January 1st, 2020. So it's got to be older than 4 or 5 years now. It's got to be in existence prior to January 2020. If you set it up after 2020 or after January 1st, 2020, then you've still got to register it, even though you haven't done anything with it. So the entity is not engaged in any active business. Well, we got lots of those that aren't engaged in any active business. I got one this week. I set it up in 2020. All I have is a checking account. Do I have to register it? Well, yeah, it was after 2020 that you set it up, after January 1st, 2020, so you do have to register it. The entity is not owned by a foreign person. I'm going to assume that your entity isn't owned by any foreign persons. If there's a foreign person's involved or a foreign entity involved, then you've got to register it. But I'm going to say, not worried about that. So wasn't it in existence January 1st, 2020? It's not engaged in any activity. We don't have any foreigners. The entity has not experienced any change in ownership in the last 12 months. Well, no, we haven't changed any ownership in the last 12 months. The entity has not sent or received any funds in an amount greater than $1,000, either directly or indirectly through a financial account. $1,000 hasn't changed hands in the preceding 12-month period. So we haven't had $1,000 in transfer of money, anything in the last 12 months. Now, a lot of you qualify for that, but if you've had a checking account and you've closed the checking account, then that means that you are transferring funds and stuff. So, yeah, probably have to do it. The entity does not otherwise hold any kind of assets in the United States or abroad. It doesn't own any interest in another company or anything else. So if you meet all 6 of those criteria, you can say yes to all of those, or no to all of them, whatever the question is. Then you can say it's a defunct entity, it's an inactive company, I don't have to register it with FinCEN. Other than that, you're probably going to have to register with FinCEN. Always err on the side of registering with FinCEN, because the penalty is $500 a day plus $10,000 plus 2 years in jail. So it's a big deal, guys. It's a big deal. Now, you've got till the end of the year to register these older companies, but make sure that you get them registered. Yeah, it has been declared unconstitutional by the federal court in Alabama, but FinCEN has said, screw that. We're holding everybody's feet to the fire except the National Small Business Association. It's unconstitutional for them, but it's not unconstitutional for you. So you'd better register, guys. That's the latest and greatest news I've got on it. If you've got the old company prior to 2020, you meet all the criteria, then you don't have to register. Lee Phillips talking about FinCEN and registering inactive companies.